So, welcome to the Discover Me podcast, where we bring you amazing people doing remarkable things in a very influential way. I'm Lavanna.
And I'm Brian.
And today we have with us Courtney Rose, an entrepreneur and a tax expert. Welcome, Courtney. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you all, good people?
We are
Great.
good. We really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us today, and we just gonna jump right into it. So please tell us who Courtney Rose is.
Sure. So as you said, I am an entrepreneur. I really consider myself a creator at heart, a builder. And by way of that, I happen to be a business owner and entrepreneur, but I've been in my industry for the past 10 years, teaching people how to make six figures in 4 months, and really just getting the most out of life and building businesses, building tax returns, building people. So that's who Courtney is.
Okay, I like that, building people.
And you mentioned you teach people how to make six figures in 4 months. How do you get into the tax business?
Sure. So basically, I got into the tax business when I was 22, 23. I went to school for accounting. I dropped out. And then I ended up moving out here to Dallas to be with my mom and help her with some things here. Life ended up happening. I ended up being introduced to a guy that had a tax company. And he said, hey, I see something special in you. I want to teach you what I do. I went to school for accounting, didn't get to finish again, but he ended up introducing me to the industry. I took what he taught me. I took, everything that I learned. And I said, hey, I'm going to take this information and actually build out my firm. So the next year I cashed out my 401k, used every dollar that I had to start my company, hired a team, year one, and have been rocking and rolling every year after that. So of course, sharpening my tools, just because I didn't get to finish college, I was like, hey, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to end up hiring CPAs and people that know more than me, so that when I don't know something, then I have access to the information. I don't feel like I'm not equipped, right? So that's kind of how I started.
Okay. So what would you say was the most challenging part of starting your business?
I don't know that there was a challenge starting out, because I was young and just filled with faith. And I always sometimes I think as we get older, logic sets in and we start analyzing what may work, what may not work. There was never hey, like, what's a challenge? Like, what can't work? There was no logic. It was, I had a vision, and the only thing I seen on the other side of my vision is how things are going to play out. So, I didn't really have something. I feel like a portion of my brain was just kind of blocked because there was no logic and, okay, analyze the pros and the cons. It was only one outcome, that I had a business and I was going to win. And challenges presented themselves over the course of the journey. But starting out, I don't know that like I ever had like a thought like, man, what's a challenge for me right now? Or I don't know that I necessarily, maybe actually I will. I struggle with inadequacy, like not feeling good enough, not feeling smart enough. The fact that I owned a tax company and I was like, oh my goodness, what if people know that I didn't finish college? What if people know that I don't have an accounting degree? So at the beginning, my first few years of business, I never marketed myself. I literally just service people, and my clients end up marketing for me. But it was because I didn't want people to say, well, are you a CPA? Because I didn't want them to doubt my credibility. So if there was a challenge, I would say believing in myself. That was a pretty big deal for me. And so by me not believing in myself, it literally kept me quiet. And my clients built the business because they believed in me, because I didn't starting out.
So how did you get over that?
I just kept on doing it. I'm really good with writing out my fears and my thoughts. I keep it 1,000 with myself. That's something that I'm super, super huge on. So I don't pretend that things don't exist. I don't pretend like whatever's going on in here, I write it out and I find someone to communicate it with. So I never pretended that it didn't exist. I just, once the season was over, because 4 months, I would say you work on the business. The other 8 months of the year, you work on yourself. So those other 8 months of the year, I'm sharpening my tools. I'm trying to, evict not feeling good enough, not feeling smart enough, not feeling equipped, not feeling like I know enough to be able to run the business. So I overcame it by sharpening my tools and placing myself around people that were smarter than me, that would be able to help me, on my journey with building out this successful company that I had seen in my mind. And that's kind of how it's happened.
I feel like taxes is that thing that even each year. So you were talking about inadequacies. When I have to do taxes each year, like I feel like, oh my gosh, man, like this is something stressful every year to do. So the fact that you started a whole business doing it, that is crazy. Because most of us don't even want to do our own taxes. I'm like H&R Block or whatever it is. So that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
after you started your own business, how did you lean into wanting to coach others
Right.
into starting their own tax business?
Sure. So it wasn't a question. The year one, when I worked for the gentleman and I seen what I had to, because I ended up bringing him a bunch of people. He ended up paying me one time like $10,000, and I had referred like over 100 people. And I recognized what I actually got paid in comparison to what I was supposed to get paid. I was like robbed, right? So year once he exposed me to the industry, as much as I wanted to be angry with him, I was like, man, like the introduction to this industry will change my life. I can't be mad. And now I have to introduce other people to it. So by default, year one, as a 22, 23-year-old girl, I was just like, my life is about to forever be different. I would be wrong to not expose other people to this information. So it was like, like, I don't know, like that pay it forward. Like, granted, you didn't pay me, bro. You screwed me over. Other people this, because what if he would have never showed me this industry, introduced me to it? I would still be working at some job, getting paid some rate, and my life would never have been, I don't think that it necessarily would have been what it is today and what it has been over the past, 10 years. So it was just my default response, like gratitude to like, man, this information is about to change my life, and year one, I was just like, people need to know this. Too many people are struggling. Too many people live paycheck to paycheck. Too many people don't get to drive what they want, take their kids where they want to take their kids, go out to eat where they want to go out to eat, live in the place and where they want to live, because money controls their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. I know that was my life before I was introduced to the industry. And so I just said, oh my goodness, like I have to expose other people to this.
So
did I answer your question?
You got it.
Yes, it did. So talk to me about how you coach people into doing what you do.
Say that for me one more time.
What do you offer when you coach, when you are looking to help someone lean into what it is they want to do in the tax business? What do you offer them as far as courses, classes to assist with helping them get to where they want to get to?
Got it. Able to equip them for success.
Yes.
Right? So in addition to the information, because I say there's CPAs in the unemployment line, right? Information by itself is never enough to be able to translate to a lot of dollars. It's not. That's why unemployment exists, because there's people out there that have information, but unless they know how to translate the information and have that information translate into dollars, then it's not enough. So basically we do mindset. We go over practical, we do client you market yourself. You look good, you look pretty, you post some cool pictures, and you just make it easy. I've shared with them the blueprint that's worked for me, not year one, not year two, year all the way in, the exact framework, the conversations that we have with our clients, everything, the recipe. I've reverse engineered the recipe of what I've done to be able to organically build my business. And that's what I cover with my students. So they get the information, right? Learning how to do the taxes. We do the hands-on training, learning how to actually, input the returns. But then we cover all of the intangibles, I like to call them, that actually equips them with a mentality of success. Now I consider myself Midas. If I'm in this industry, if I'm in any new industry out there, because I've learned what it takes to win, then it's transferable. And I feel like that's one of the most important things that coaches that really want their students to experience success, they should be giving them. It's more than just information. Information is not enough. That's why the library is so boring.
Right.
True. So true.
Absolutely. I think it's crazy. So you know what? I follow you on Instagram too, and there's almost always so much information, and I'm not sure if it's me like starting to follow people more, or if there's more people that are just giving back. But I think it's awesome that you share this information. There's quite a few other people, or there's a few other people that are doing it as well. And I don't think there's enough people doing that because, like you said, just it being in a book or in the course isn't enough. But seeing like people like you put it out there and talking through it, and then you seeing like the success, like I think you had this one post that was like showing like 5 years maybe, like what you made each year. It was like 5 or 7 years, I can't remember. And it was crazy how like that changed each year. Um, so you do this 4 months a year. What do you do the rest of the year?
So the rest of the year, now Greta, um, the rest of the year, I simply work on myself. So you'll see me, posting, going to the gym. You'll see me posting what my life consists of. Are you able to hear me okay?
We're good.
Okay, very good. So when I'm not working on the business, then I'm working on myself. As adults, as grown people, sometimes we get so lost in building, the business, building that one thing. We're focused on one pillar in our life instead of building out the other areas of our life. Our health. What good is a business if there's no business owner behind it to drive it? Well, if your health is garbage, how well can you actually fuel the business? You know what I mean? So I'm working on my health. This weekend, I was on a sabbatical serving at my church, no phone, and off the grid for those 4 days. I'm working on my heart. I'm working on my relationships. I'm working on improving my living space. I'm always making, insertions to improve my quality of life. If my bank account is increasing every year of life, but the areas of my life aren't improving, then I'm really just a big fake. So I work on winning in all the areas of life that, that sometimes we deem as invaluable, or we just tend to, neglect and look over because we're out here just trying to get the bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's that feeling like when you see like someone that took your course come back and just show you like they're out there killing it now? Like, how does that feel to see that you did that for someone else?
Sure. So, and take into consideration, everybody's level of killing it is different.
True.
One lady, she was working at a company forever. She was like, she would travel to different locations and open up. The company was a major franchise. And now her being able to walk away from her job, making a very nice salary, just being a yoga instructor, being able to be present with her kids. It's the coolest thing ever, seeing her lifestyle change. Seeing now
Right.
she has a freedom to be able to just wake up and do yoga and work out. Another lady used to work for CPS all these years and, great paying job, but she didn't have the freedom to be able to be present with her kids and just, come home and not feel anxiety and have all these worries, and now her being able to just be present with her kids and, and that's amazing. Me seeing, I think the derivative, what I get most excited by is a lifestyle that they now get to be able to experience. Now, then being one lady able to homeschool her children, and she's paying for herself out of pocket to fund her doctorate, her holistic doctorate studies. Like me seeing now the quality of life that they've been able to buy is the coolest thing ever. Because we're able to just talk about like, man, we get to have a conversation at 3 o'clock in the day, or go have lunch, or do whatever we decide. And remember when we were waking up and we didn't want to wake up and driving in 8 a.m. traffic, and we didn't want to drive in 8 a.m. traffic. And, like we remember what that's like. And we're like, wow, this is not our lives. So it's cool when they're like, man, Court, we heard you talk about it. We went forth with it. And now look what our life is today. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. You know what? All the stuff that you mentioned that you like offer in your course, it's kind of like you're teaching them more than just how to run a business. Like you're kind of like teaching this like financial freedom. There's so much more to it than just being like having the money. Like you have the freedom to do the other stuff. So I think that is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, yeah, people say it so often, and money is great. Money is cool because it allows you to do cool things and go cool places. But it's really the experience that money, the places that money allows you to travel, the people that money be able to allow, the money that the excitement, the joy that you get from being able to bless somebody because you have money to put in somebody else's pocket or put food on someone else's table, that is invaluable. Yeah. That's what allows me to build and keep on building and keep on building. It's not because I want my bank account padded up. The joy that I get when I'm able to bless people, it's better than an expensive bag on my shoulder. it just feels so good.
Yes, absolutely. So, did you have something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, so at this point, we want to play a game called Quick Six. We're gonna ask you 6 questions, and you answer with the first thing that comes to mind.
All right, let's do it.
International or domestic travel?
Say that question for me one more time. The phone cut out.
International or domestic travel?
International.
Fine dining or soul food?
Fine dining.
Heels or boots?
Boots.
Okay. We have to talk about that one.
Digital or paper records?
Paper records.
Wow.
Okay. Are we dancing to a song or are we singing to a song?
Both.
Okay.
You can do both.
Okay.
All right. In life, would you rather have a rewind button or a fast forward button?
Pause. Am I able to just give my own responses?
Okay.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
Pause for sure. Pause. No fast forward. No rewind. Definitely pause, getting the most out of the moments. I used to be a person that was so like in the rush of life, or I would think like, man, if I were to ever go back, like, what if I could do something better? And now I'm like, man, sometimes we don't pause enough and just be able to enjoy the moments. So I would definitely say pause. No rewind, no fast forward.
I like it.
Yeah.
Slow down and enjoy the moment, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about these boots, please. Because that's the first.
Sure. So I live in Texas and I'm from California. And it was so cool when I came here and people wore boots and shorts. It was the coolest thing ever. So I just like boots and shorts, because my dad is like always like a do it yourself. My dad wears work boots every day, even though he doesn't have a job, but he wears work boots because he says just in case he got a scuffle, right? So I think I low key have his mentality of like always be ready, like you don't have to worry about if I'm doing something, if I'm carrying something, if I drop it, I don't have to worry about my toe getting stubbed. You can always get fashionable boots. I feel like boots just describe my personality. Like they're going to be some pretty boots, but they can get the job done. So boots without a doubt.
Okay, I'm here for your boots. Okay. Well, some of us, want
All
to
heels.
incorporate these good heels. I wear boots on a daily. So when I can get in a good pair of heels, I am trying to get in those heels. But I can
I
relate
love
to
it.
your boots. I can.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So please tell me, what's the main piece of advice that you would give people when they approach you about starting a similar business?
So the main piece of advice that I like to give an individual that comes to me in general, whether they want to start this business or any business, is know why you're building.
Mhm.
Don't build because it's cute. Don't build because it's cool. Don't build because they say you could make a lot of money in that industry. Build because you know that that's what you're called to do first. Because if you're not called to build, some people are called to serve other leaders. Some people we live in an age where people do things because it's cool and it's sexy and it's cute, but really that's not their calling. That's not what they're equipped for. So they feel like a failure when the business doesn't work. So no, are you really, really called to build, or are you called to serve the builder? Right. And then if you decide, you're called to build, you have this creative thing in you, and you know that you want to live this thing out, I would say don't stop, don't quit, don't do anything other than keep going until you arrive. Often so many people, aren't where they need to be in life. I can include myself, my body. I don't have the six pack yet because I take my foot off the gas. And so I feel like business, so many of us are looking for that recipe. Like, what's the recipe to success? Like, what is it going to take in order for us to get there, for us to make this number of revenue? And it really just takes you not taking your foot off the gas. Mm-hmm. The business owner that holds their foot to the gas the hardest generally gets there the fastest. Often people just decide to hop in the car and work on their business on the weekends, and they're not really committed and serious about it. When they're not working on their business, they're not looking at how can I expand the business, grow the business, improve the business. It's just something cool and cute to say, and the business forever stays small. And it doesn't have to stay that way. So I would say, to an individual that's wanting to start a business, get really, really, really clear. Is this something that you're supposed to be doing? And if so, don't get distracted. Don't get discouraged. Just keep going. And if you can, surround yourself in an ecosystem of other people that are building too. Because just like trees grow by air and water, everything grows with relying on something else. So often business owners are out there trying to build by themselves, and it's really, really tough. So if you could have an ecosystem of people that are out there building with you, it'll make the journey a lot more fun, and you could avoid so many, I feel like, learning curves as well. Ecosystem, know what you're called to build, and don't lay off the gas until you win.
I like it. That's a lot. You remember when we were talking with, so there's another, so we have 2 businesses too that we're just starting to get off the ground pretty well. And the one thing we noticed is there's not a lot of people that are doing the same thing. Everyone in our circle, our current circle, is asking us how we did it or how we're doing it, but we haven't ran into a lot of people that are doing it. Like that ecosystem doesn't exist yet. So like, how do I guess you get that ecosystem by going to these conferences and that kind of stuff? Like, how do you suggest even getting there? Because I'm sure when you started George, there weren't many people doing tax businesses.
Sure. So thank God that we live in the land of social media now, right? So an ecosystem, sometimes you don't have a coach, you don't have an ecosystem. I can tell you, I feel like my ecosystem was Eric Thomas all these years. I had somebody to be able to tap into to help feed my soul, to be able to keep me going. So if it's following the other podcasts, staying tapped in, paying attention to what some of the other major podcasters out there do, seeing who else have podcasts and saying, hey, if you guys have a podcast, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yes, you're good.
Okay, very good. Seeing the other podcasts are out there and saying, hey, I'm looking to start a podcast community where other podcasters, we just come together and we talk once a month about what we're doing, what's working, what's not working. We're able to sharpen tools, and we create the ecosystem that we may feel like is not out there right now. Because believe it or not, sometimes, and there's two people look at, other people in their industry one of 2 ways. It's competition or as family and collaboration. Y'all's message is y'all's message. Y'all are a couple that's doing something really powerful and cool, and y'all are doing it together. So your creative edge is going to be way different from the podcaster that's just by themselves. So creating an ecosystem, if you don't currently have one, of who else is doing a podcast, even if it's, it doesn't matter the end of it. How can we create something? You creating that ecosystem, and then you'll find that iron is sharpening iron. So all the other podcasters that are in the developmental stage, they're saying yes, and you guys learn something from one another. And then your ecosystem, I feel like, is what y'all are doing too, tapping in and, and asking other business owners, like, hey, what is it that, talk to me, share with me what's in here. Because if you can just take away one piece of information from every person that's on your show, y'all are getting the keys, the nuggets to success. You could write a whole curriculum. Man, I got this from this person. I got this. You're getting direct coaching from every person that's on your podcast. It's a win.
This is true.
That is true. That is true.
I'm not gonna lie. David Shands, he said that. He says on his podcast a lot, like, I'm getting free info here, like right now. So yeah, it's definitely true.
True. Yep. Firsthand access to it. Yep.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better, because I definitely follow everyone. In person, I don't know many people, but you're right. Social media, like, I went through and did like a detox. I was telling my friends, I was like, if you want to know how you can start your business, I deleted nothing against rappers. I deleted all the rappers off my Instagram that I was following and started adding entrepreneurs. And it was at that point that I was like, I can start a business. I can start a podcast, because that's all I'm seeing. And I go on there, I'm not seeing the rappers or the cars or the Jordan shoes. I'm seeing stuff that's helping me grow. So I agree. I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, it's what we feed our subconscious. Every time you get on your phone, you're consuming something. So before you were just consuming some nonsense and you're like, no, I don't need to see their lives. I need to see what my next level looks like. And through every person that gets in front of your phone, they're showing you a snippet of your next level. So like, okay, cool. It makes you want to get off the phone and take action. So it sounds like you
Absolutely.
made the best decision that a lot of people don't make, which is unfollow people that don't feed them. So that was a way of your ecosystem right there.
Absolutely. Well, thanks.
I'm telling you.
And we want to thank you for joining us. This was awesome. So thank you for joining us
Absolutely.
and sharing everything. And I look forward to like like I said, I follow you on
We
Instagram right
both
now.
do.
Yeah. So I look forward to like every day I'll see like Courtney went live. I'm like, what is she talking about on here? Sometimes the workout, sometimes it's like a quick,
When you're driving in your
yep, a
car,
car.
just giving
So
a quick good
nugget,
nugget
yeah.
for the day. Love it. So please tell us how someone can follow you, reach out to you, keep up with what
Right.
Coach Courtney is doing.
Yes. So just to make sure I answer your question, if you can say it for me one more time.
So where can people look to keep up with you or to follow you?
Oh, sure, sure, sure. So my Instagram is Coach Courtney, Cortney Rose. Coach. So they can find me on Instagram at Coach Courtney Rose, and everything that they need to know is there. There's a link, of course, in my bio. They wanted to reach out. If someone DMs me, I am the one to respond back. I try and stay connected with, those that message me. So I'm just an Instagram message away.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure sitting down with you this evening, and we look forward to everything that is coming in your direction. All the blessings. We pray for nothing but continued blessings for you and your business.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. And I wish the same for you guys too. I love the fact that y'all are willing to reach out. Thank you for being so flexible, but most importantly, continue to be great. The great energy that you delivered, the flexibility that you provided, like find ways. I feel like one of the recipes to massive success in a short time period is after every single podcast, you and your husband, you sit and you guys look at each other and you congratulate each other and you say, yep, honey, we've been talking about this and we're doing it. We're doing it. But most importantly, hey, how can we do it better next time? And every single time you guys decide to be really intentional with making very minuscule, even changes, eventually you're like, wow, how did we grow so fast? How did we grow so fast? And then I can say, if you could increase the output. I don't know if you guys are currently getting one podcast out a week or two a week or three a week, but if we want to get there faster, let us go harder. So if we're doing 2 a week now, we're going to double it, honey, to 4 a week. We're going to find time. All these people have to be done on one day. It doesn't take 12 years. It doesn't take 5 years. It doesn't take 3. Sometimes it could take 180 days for something to take off. You know what I mean? And for it to do exactly what you want to do. So get really, really clear about this vision. Start asking God, okay, how much, like not even asking God, ask each other, how much do we want to make by the end of this year with this podcast? How many people do we want to impact? And how much do we want to make?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Being yourself
Absolutely.
toward that thing. Don't be passive about it. We're just, you know what I mean? Not that y'all are, I'm just saying, like, be really, really intentional about it. And then just begin to see God do his part as you guys do your part. New levels like never before.
Yes, we're here
Yes.
for it. Yes.